Welcome to Vinex Studio. Let's start making games. Hi and welcome. Now that everything is set, you install Unity, Visual Studio Code and linked Visual Studio Code with Unity. We are ready to start some small scripting. A new script can be created in two ways in Unity. The first way is to right-click in your project window, go to Create and C# script. So this creates a C# script in your asset folder, but it does not link the script to your game object. So in order to link the script to your game object, select the game object, then drag and drop your script to the game object's components. Now the second way is to click on the game object, click on Add Component and New Script, give a name for the script and click Create and Add. Now for the purpose of understanding the basic scripting in Unity, let's create a cube and let's try to move it by 1 unit using the script. So to add a cube, go to the hierarchy window, click on 3D objects, cube. So this has added a cube to my scene and I'll reset the transform of the cube, that is the position of the cube, to 0, 0, 0 and we'll try to go to 1, 0, 0 using a script. So to add a script, select the cube in the hierarchy, click on Add Component and New Script. Let's name it Move Script. Click Enter or Create and Add. So this will add the script to your cube. So now you can see that along with other components, a Move Script component is also added to the cube. To edit the script, click on these 3 dots and click on Edit Script. This opens the script in Visual Studio Code, and if you install Visual Studio Community, it opens in Visual Studio Community. So by default, Unity adds this code to your script. Now, generally you don't require these two using functions, and using functions are the namespace of the script. Namespace is something that contains the function which you can use in your code. For example, you have a start and an update function. Now these two functions are inside the Unity engine namespace. So if you're not using Unity engine, then you won't be able to use the start and update function. So in Unity engine, start and update are the most basic functions available. There are a lot more functions available, but you won't be using everything in all the scripts. The start function in Unity is called once when the game object is activated. For example, this scene is not running now. So when you play the game, the cube gets activated and all the components get called. So at that time, the move script is also activated and the start function is called. The update function, on the other hand, is called every frame. If your game is running at 60 FPS, then the update function is called 60 times in a second. So with this basic understanding, let's first test out the start and the update function. And in order to test, let's just use a debug.log. Debug.log is just to print out a message onto the console. So you can go debug.log, say game started. Now every sentence in C# ends with a semicolon, and you should know that Unity is case sensitive, so if you use a small d it won't work, and most of the time it's autofill, so you won't be making mistakes like this. So that is the advantage of autofill. So now we have inserted a log inside the start function so that when the game starts we get a message game started. So let's save the script, go back to Unity, and when you go back to Unity, Unity will compile the script, and if you have any error in the script, you will get it in the console window. For example, I leave the semicolon out of it, save it, go to Unity. You can see there's a semicolon expected error here in the console. So let's go back, add the semicolon, save the script, come back to Unity, and now the error should be gone. So the error is gone now. So we have a cube with a script which will print game started when the cube is activated. So let's play the game. You can see on the console game started message is printed. Let's stop the game, go back to the script you can comment out a line using double slash. Now to test the update function, let's debug.log game running. Now this message will be printed on the console every frame. If the game is running at 60 FPS, this message printed 60 times on the screen per second. So let's save the script, go back to Unity and clear our console window using the clear button, and let's play the game. You can see that the message is going on printing. You can see the number here. So it's almost printing at 60 FPS, I guess, and it's more than that. So that's how update works. So update is called every frame when the game object is active. If you want to move a game object in the game, you need to adjust the transform or you need to use physics. We'll not get into the physics part as of now. We will see how to move the game object using transform in this case. So let's go back to our script and let's go to start. And what we can do is we'll declare a new variable called vector3, and vector3 is basically a three-dimensional vector which has the position x, y, z stored in it. We'll call this vector3 pos, and we will give it a value of 1, 0, 0. And when the game starts, we'll set this value to the cube's position. Since the script is attached to the cube, you can directly access the transform of the script and give the value we want to the position. To access the position of the cube, you have to write transform. Transform is the component dot position. Position is the subcomponent of transform, is equal to our variable position. So let's save the script. We'll comment out the debug.log as of now. Let's go back to Unity. And there's no error. So the current position of the cube is 0, 0, 0. Now if I play the game, the cube moves to 1, 0, 0. Now you have successfully moved your cube. If you want to continuously move your cube, then you need to increment the value every frame. So you can use update for this. So let's try and using update to move the cube continuously in one direction. So we'll comment this one out. We have the position vector. Now we'll have one more float. And we'll call this x value and we'll set it to 0. Now we'll increment the x value every frame. In order to link the actual time with the increment, we can use something called time in Unity. Unity time is a function that basically gives you all the values related to time inside the game world. So for example, you want the difference between this frame and next frame, you can get it using time.delta time. So let's use time.delta time to increment the value of x value. So x value plus equal to time.delta time. So it gets incremented by the difference of the time between your update frames. So that way you will be able to move 1 unit in 1 second. Now let's assign this value to our vector3 pos. You can access the value of individual variables of a individual axis of a vector3 using .x, .y and .z. So we are going to update the x value of the vector3 position. So position .x equals to x value. So we are incrementing the x value and then assigning that x value to the vector3's x position. And once that is done, we'll assign that to transform position of the cube. So now we have a script to move it in the positive direction. So let's go back to our Unity editor. Now we see there is no error in our script. So let's play the game. And as you can see, the cube is moving in the positive direction. 1 unit per second. That's the basic of Unity scripting. In the next tutorial, we'll see how colliders work in Unity. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.